theme for this evening is we're going to be talking with Mijas Felina. And welcome back, Daniela.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you. The sun is out again, finally.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we're very shallow, aren't we? But we do like when the sunshine comes back out again.
Yeah. Well,
So, Daniela, we're just waiting on a guest to join us at the moment, but people will see that we put the theme up for this evening, which is Mijas Felina. And can you tell us what it is we're going to be talking with Luisa about?
well, in general, we will be talking about, there's many people that support the local stray cats, but there's also many people that, they are not big fans and they complain about stray cats. So we're going to talk about both opinions. And
Yeah,
Luisa is a member of our local cat charity or cat association, Mijas Felina. So she just finished work, so she should be with us in a few minutes. And she
sure.
will tell us a bit how they help to control the local community, the cat community. Colonies, not community, the
Yeah.
local cat colonies, and how that works, and how we can help as well to control them. And
Yeah, I mean, without sort of cutting into what Luisa is going to be talking to us about, I mean, their aim is really to control them rather than get rid of them, isn't it? Um,
obviously you can't just kill them. That's obviously legally
sure,
not even possible, and it's not a good idea anyway. I mean, it's about the important thing is to control them and to control their population.
sure.
We have to bring the population down, and the problem is that
Ah,
cats can get pregnant a few times a year. So
we we have
there
Luisa
she
with us. Welcome,
Hello,
Luisa.
everybody. I apologize. I had internet issues. Always
Hi,
internet issues. Hello.
it's
Hi,
nice to see
Lisa.
you. Oh,
Hello.
I'm going to hand you over to Daniela in just a moment, Luisa.
Hmm.
But I thought for this evening, um, given all the wonderful work that you do, we're going to change our logo for this evening from around Mijas to Mijas Felina. There we are. Right, I'm going to do a bit of shuffling around here, and I'm going to go small at the bottom. Here we go, guys.
Hi, Luisa.
Hello, Daniela.
So my first question is always the same question. Tell us a bit about you. How long have you lived in Mijas? What's your story? Where's your origin?
Well, with my very Spanish looks that I have, I'm half Spanish, half English. I'm born here in Spain, in Malaga. My mother is English, my father is Spanish. So I'm very fortunate. I was brought up with the two languages. I went through the schooling system here in Spain. And so I'm 43 years old now. So I've been seeing the changes which are happening. They are positive. They are taking place. And being part of these changes and being part of carrying everything forward. So
So were
it's
you
frustrating at
always
times. But
were you always a cat fan since you were a little girl, or?
well, I love everything. I do love everything. It wasn't actually my intention ever to have a cat.
Hmm.
But
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
yes, exactly. And then it just sort of happened. It just sort of evolved. And I love everything, but specifically for me, it's the black cats. The black cats have a personality and something that just make them irresistible for
How
me.
many cats do you have right now?
Is this what we say publicly, or is this?
Well, you told us your age.
Yeah,
You can tell us how many cats.
Exactly. So I have three cats, but at home we have eight cats because I foster as well. So I have some long term fosters. These are cats that either we are, oh, there's Kitten Willow's tail. Here's Kitten Willow. Let me show you. Hello, Kitten Willow. No, you don't want to come on screen? Go show everybody. Where are we? Where are we there?
he's camera shy.
Yes, exactly. Look, there we are. There we are, Kitten Willow. So Kitten Willow, she's not a kitten. She's actually 2.5 years old, but she's tiny. So Kitten Willow is what's stuck. And Willow is gorgeous, but she's hard to place because she needs somewhere where she can be very active, where she can ideally be outdoors and be. So she's with us until she finds a home.
Tell us a bit now about Mijas Felina. I mean, I used to be
Mhm.
a member. Well, I
Uh-huh.
started. I helped you guys a bit during when
Yes,
lockdowns were
exactly. With several events.
when I had a lot of
Mm.
time and couldn't work, and now with my job and the baby I have now, it's yeah, I can't go and trap cats anymore at the moment. So,
Mhm.
but tell us a bit how Mijas Felina started. When did they start? And the story behind it.
Sure. Well, Mijas Felina, the roots are from 2015. So it's been going for a while now. It was founded by 6 women, uh, all of whom are Spanish, but although Spanish, we have, pardon me, we have connections to lots of different. So one of them was a school teacher. One of them was married to also, I believe, he was French. So we're used to mixing with different nationalities, and they were a great group because as a result of them being outgoing and being willing to explain to people the importance of the trap neuter return scheme, being patient, explaining how it works, being ambassadors for it. Of the 6 originals, a little like yourself, life has taken them away from this area, jobs and so on. So we still have 3 founder members on board. And since then, we've been growing and growing. We are delighted. We have 126 members at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do is we all pay in €5 per month. And that's really our main source of income.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, as you well know, there are always emergency cases. There are always, tugging on the heartstring, very obviously, animals that needing help. So we rely enormously on fundraiser events. We rely hugely on people. So we try and do food drives. We had one last Saturday. Kiwoko are extremely generous with us, and they allow us several times a year to have a stand in the shop and to explain to people as well what we do. So Mijas Felina, really, the main aim is to sterilize
Mm-hmm.
street cats.
Tell
That's
us for
really
the people that don't know how that works on the
sure.
scheme. How does it work?
Mhm. So there is in English, it's the trap, neuter, return, the TNR, and in Spanish, it's the FIS. So it's the captura, esterilización y suelta. So you, or of course, we're talking you to the public, will have seen a lot of cats with a little V cut into the ear or with the top tip cut off. We stick to the V. That's like our one. And this symbolizes a cat that has been trapped by a volunteer, has been taken to the vet, has been sterilized, and so now can be identified as a sterilized cat and then is returned to its area. The reason that we do return the cats to the area is because there aren't homes for all of them. So we simply can't just take them off the street and magically find a home for them. And there's also something else, which is it's called the vacuum effect. So if you take away cats from a colony that have been there and just simply remove them all, either us removing them or other people taking other measures, what will happen is that other cats will come into that place because the conditions there are safer for them. So the trap neuter return scheme means that we spend countless hours going and setting up the traps. You have to set up a feeding routine so that the cats will know to expect you to be there at a certain
And
time.
cats are very clever animals, and I mean, I've done that also, and I spent many hours as well. So,
Yeah.
and you are all of your the members are all volunteers. You've got all
Mhm.
jobs, so you do
Mhm.
that in your spare time, obviously.
Yes, exactly. So either we are working, or we do have some who are retired, but doesn't mean because you're retired that you also have all the time in the world. So yes, we do it on a voluntary basis. So we rely on volunteers or for people to help to set up a feeding station, a feeding routine. This means that the cats get used to it. It may seem cruel to a lot of people, but the day before we're going to go and trap them, you have to take away the food. And this is because you have to increase the possibility, the chance of the cat going into the trap, because it really wants that meal. So then once the cat is trapped, it then goes to the vet, it's sterilized. We keep them overnight as well, especially the females, because although these days it's such a fantastic operation, the recovery is superb, but we just monitor them overnight and make sure their fluids are okay. And then the following day, they're released to the same area and just keep going and going. So
And
far this year,
and
sorry?
in regards to the feeding,
Mm-hmm.
because we can speak a bit later about that, Mijas also gives a cat feeding license. But
Mm-hmm.
the feeding, for example, is you can see it on social media, is for many people that are not cat fans a huge problem, for example. And they
Yes.
blame the feeders that when you feed the cats, then the more we will have. So, which
Mm.
doesn't make sense. Maybe you can explain us why we
Yes.
feed them.
Yes, I completely understand. It's a controversial issue. There are many people whose opinion is that street cats, are another plague. They classify them, anything from rats to even cockroaches they've been compared to. And I understand cats are not for everybody. And perhaps they don't like them hanging around and they don't like them being there. But what we have to consider is that cats have been domesticated by people. So all of them, when we trace back, those cats didn't put themselves there in the sense that those cats, they've either been abandoned, they've been left there, and that's how these colonies have come to be in this place. So it's a delicate balance between wanting to understand the people that don't want the cats there and wanting to understand, yes, but the cats are there, so let's try and find the best way to manage the situation. So, sometimes with dialogue, you can find a way forward, and sometimes there just is an ongoing battle there. That does happen.
Luisa,
Mhm.
some of the colonies are in well, it might be in countryside, and some of it might be in sort of wasteland within urbanizations.
Mhm.
And you know, we've got three dogs and three cats here, so and they've all been sterilized. Um, but I tell you what, living in the countryside, I would be reluctant to be without cats now because they do keep the finca clean. They
Mhm.
bring us presents,
Mm.
they bring us
And
snakes, they
well,
bring
this
us
is
rats,
this is
they
the
bring.
thing that um, while and I speak for myself here, but also for the collective. While I understand that not everybody likes to have the cats around, um,
Mhm.
they particularly, of course, the biggest thing is that they don't like it when cats do their business in gardens. I think
Sure.
that's the biggest reason that people object to having them
That's
around.
why many communities contact you, for example, and
Mhm.
say there are cats that poop in the gardens here, and please remove the cats. That has
Yes.
happened many times, and
Mhm.
what some people also think that Mija Felina, that was one of your cats.
Yes, yes, exactly. I call them
um,
my hooligans.
that many people think that Mijas Felina has a shelter, but Mijas Felina doesn't have a shelter. So,
Mhm.
that's why all the fostering and that is so important on one side. And if angry presidents of communities contact you to remove the cats, where do you
Yes,
put them? I mean, that's
yes,
as easy as they think it works, obviously.
absolutely. And I've even been to mediate in these sort of situations, both because of being bilingual and also because inevitably each one of us within the group, we each have our different, we each can bring a different skill to the
Yeah.
group. And so, often I'm the one who is sent to situations to try and keep the peace a little and explain. And as I say, often just by explaining and just by listening to the other party and by giving a new perspective and by initially, by starting the dialogue, often that goes a long way. But equally, we have been in situations where the administration and the president of the community have, on the one hand, said, "Oh, you can't just take in countless animals into your house when you live in a community," and then in the same breath turned around and said, "Well, if you love all these cats, why don't you take them home with you?" And you sort of go, do you see how your very argument here doesn't stack up?
Yeah.
So it's very difficult. And there are times when, there have been situations in communities where it's not been ideal for the cat to be there. But 9 times out of 10, it is resolved by sterilizing so that the numbers don't keep multiplying. And then eventually these cats, they'll grow old, as everything does. And then, they'll just fade away and the numbers reduce that way. So
Yeah.
usually with cooperation, we do achieve a lot, but
Because,
it is difficult.
because one female cat can have how many kittens per year?
Oh, well, if you consider that one female cat, typically speaking, will come into season twice in a year and will have 4 to 5 kittens. So in that lifetime, you're looking at one female cat producing on average about 60 kittens during an average lifespan. So there are charts that you can see online. There are charts that we often publish ourselves where you show the exponential growth. And yes, it becomes literally hundreds
Yeah.
from one cat, because then they can interbreed and they can go on. So it,
But Luisa, we have contact with a number of the I'm going to call them animal rescue, but animal charities that do different things to look after the animals. And
mm,
I have to say this, that from a council perspective, I think the council, in general, just let people get on with it. And I would personally like to see councils getting far more involved in this process, because this constant having to raise money, and in your case, yeah, there's feeding, but I'm sure that the vet's bills are higher overall than the cost of feed. People can give you a bag of food or 2 bags of food, but
mm,
the vet's bills, from the animal groups that I've spoken to, this is what kills them generally. And whether we're talking about dogs or cats or donkeys, the cost of the veterinary care, I personally think the council should take on board what you guys are actually doing, and look at ways that they can contribute to this.
mm.
Maybe Bill,
Absolutely.
could you show the flyer?
I will show the flyer. Okay, give me a
Mhm.
second.
So while you are pulling up that information, yes, we can answer that comment twofold. So on the first part, as you have rightly said, donkeys, bats. In my case, everything comes home to me as well. Birds, hedgehogs,
Sure.
cats and dogs. At some stage, most animals. I have a friend as well who does wonderful work sterilizing the pigs. You have the hybrid
Yeah,
pigs that are
yeah, yeah,
behind the
of course.
Miramar Center, and she works her socks off as well to
Right.
keep them sterilized and keep them fed. So there is that side of it. We take on cases with a cat at the moment that has cancer that is curable but that's another operation.
Right.
um, I personally have had several in foster. One of my favorite stories was little Mimo, a little white cat, that was several different rescues. That was Galgos en Familia, who are based in Cártama in Malaga, so they look after galgos. and they rescued White Kitten, and his eyes were so ulcerated, and in the end, there was no saving them. And so he came in foster to me, and he was operated, and his eyes actually had to be removed, and he's gone on to have a wonderful, wonderful life. But that's hundreds of euros there in operations.
Sure.
So we get it a lot. We get a lot of phone calls and a lot of messages. Oh, please, can you help this animal? And you say, well, we have several issues here. How and who are we going to pay for this? Where is this animal going to stay during the time of the operation and the rehabilitation, and who will take care of it afterwards? So that's one part, is like you say, vets bills that run into the hundreds. So specifically with Mijas Felina, we say, if one of our volunteers, including me, if we take on a case, then we accept that we have to do the fundraising for that.
Right.
And then the other part comes from what you were saying, the Mijas Town Hall in particular. I have to point out that Mijas Town Hall, for the most part, tend to be quite supportive of what we do, with big limitations, but on the whole, specifically when it comes to feeding the street cats and to allowing us to continue to do our work, Mijas tend to be quite cooperative. We, of course, always would like more.
Yes, I know.
We do find it frustrating when we have different volunteers who are asking for the support. They're in cat colonies that meet all the criteria, and the permits to come through that would keep the peace are very slow in coming through. So, we will put that little sort of downside out there. But in Mijas, on the whole, we do have a lot of support for the work that we do. And of course, we have an international population in Mijas, which means that so much of the animal understanding is already in place. So we do have a lot of people that support different events, as you can see from the flyer here. Once we explain what Mijas Felina is doing, once we explain the work that we're carrying out and how important those funds are, then people do tend to be very helpful.
How people can help you, which comes here in yellow, because there are different ways to support Mijas Felina.
Yes. I mean, we have from as little, if you have a Spanish bank account, there's something called teaming. So literally teaming, and it's €1 per month. That's all it is. And it comes out of your bank account, Spanish bank account, €1 every month. That's all it is. But that €1 adds up. Once we go into hundreds of teamers, then that's money every month. Of course, another option is to become a member of Mijas Felina for €5 a month. Hopefully that's a couple of cups of coffee. So that is another big help to us.
And
then, of course,
general
fundraisers. Sorry?
Donations in general.
Donations in general.
Many people, local people here in Calahonda, they always drop me food, cat food off, which we distribute for the local strays in Calahonda, for example. Or also they can buy bank transfer or PayPal, send you a donation. Every little helps.
Absolutely.
And you always look for foster homes as well.
Yes. Because of, and this again ties in with the comment from before, it's rare. We can have complications sometimes from a sterilization. Perhaps the stitches haven't held properly. Perhaps the cat hasn't reacted well. So this is why we take them overnight. But where we have the really big issues, we've had cats that have been shot at in communities.
Right.
We've had cats that have been mauled, sometimes by dogs, sometimes by wild animals. We've had cats that have been hit by a vehicle and have been left with broken jaws but still alive. Sometimes the fairest thing to do is to give them a dignified release.
And that costs money as well.
It costs money because the vets are superb. The vets are incredible. We cannot voice enough how amazing. It makes me a bit emotional, actually, how superb they are. But they also have their costs. They have to pay staff. They have to pay social security. They have to pay their costs. They have to pay for these things.
Because
So
you have locally in Mijas and Fuengirola, where you work and help, you've got collaborating vets that give
absolutely,
you a very good price, a discounted price. You don't pay the normal price, but you still have to pay for it. So it
yes.
all sums up. And out of my own experience, when I remember, the emergencies normally happen always, well, on weekends, bank
The
holidays,
weekend, public holidays. Yeah,
and
yeah,
Yes.
then you have to go to the 24-hour vet, which is,
Mhm.
and then I remember then I was called also on a Sunday. There was a dead, a cat found half dead by the community. So they brought it to my house. Me and my partner, we went quickly to the 24-hour vet, and only to put the cat down to relieve it was, I
Mm.
think, on a Sunday, 80 euros or 90
Yeah.
yeah,
euros.
yeah,
So,
And this is what people don't see. They bring it to you because you're the person who knows about these situations. And it's okay, but then now you're leaving me with that cost, emotional as well as financial. You're leaving me with now literally with this problem in my hands, and there's only so much I can do. The majority of us, we already do feed several animals. We already do have cat colonies, so there's already that continuous monthly cost there that we take on, and you know, we accept. That's just who and how we are. But then we get these unexpected costs coming in, and you know, like Bill, you've said you have 3 dogs and 3 cats. Well, we can keep them with a good diet, and you know, with their
yeah,
regular treatment, but it's inevitable. There will come a time when one of them needs extra vet care, and they're our
yeah.
pets that we have
It,
chosen to take on board. And
sure.
we do accept that it costs a certain amount of money, and that sometimes either an illness or an accident might happen, and we have to find that money to keep them
Yeah.
healthy.
Well, listen, I'm sure, but because of where we live, we've had on occasions like a whole family just appeared on the finca, and they think, oh, there's food there. I think I'll just stay here. There's food, there's water, there's somewhere to get stay. And I think over the years we've probably sterilized about, I don't know, 12 or 14 cats,
Hmm.
and 5 dogs. Two of them are no longer with us, but yeah, it's a cost,
Yeah.
and you do it because you make a decision, but it's still a cost.
Hmm.
Um,
Yes.
the, the other thing, because we're running a bit out of time, because the other important thing is also people who would like to adopt a cat, that they can get in touch with you, because you have many cats for adoption, which are
Mhm.
either in foster homes at the moment, or when it's kitten season.
Absolutely. Well, we're coming into kitten season now. In fact, we have the first batches of kittens coming through already. Just this morning, one of our volunteers had been. We'd received a warning a couple of days ago about this cat who is in an area where you can see one of our traps is there. That was the trap used this morning, in fact, and where what happens is, either because gardeners take it upon themselves or because they're under order from their employers. But these little kittens just this morning were taken in because this little cat has given birth before, and the kittens just disappear. So it's doubly cruel because this little cat has lost her kittens. The kittens presumably lose their lives, but then the cat develops mastitis because there's no baby to be taking that milk away. So she's left in agony. Here you see 2 of our volunteers. Often, where the cat colonies are, it's difficult to access. Because cats
High,
are, you
so high.
mentioned earlier, they're smart. And they go where it's hard to get them. So that's the other issue. You see that, we're coming into kitten season. So either, hello, my kitten Willow. Um, uh, that we do get a lot of kittens. Now, kittens, once they come into a foster home, they're very easy to tame and to have them become a pet.
How
With the adult cats, sometimes it's harder.
Luisa, how does it work if someone is interested, listening now, and would like to had the thought to adopt a cat? How does it work? What do you do? Home checks? Is there a contract?
Mhm.
How
Okay,
does it?
so the process, the easiest is to contact us via Facebook. If not via Instagram, we tend to have this is little Mimo, the white guy that had his eyes with ulcers. The easiest for adoption is to contact us via Facebook or to get in touch with one of our volunteers. We have an interview. We also then have an adoption form. So we ask several questions, just to vet that person and make sure that they meet basic criteria. We do try and do home checks, but because Mijas Felina doesn't have a shelter, and because really the aim of what we do is the trap, neuter, return, there he is, little Mimo, then home checks are not always possible, but we do always have the follow-up, and we do have now what we do is that we will meet the adopter actually at the vet clinic, so that if the cat is already old enough, then it will be microchipped, it will have its vaccinations, and it will have the basics. If they're adopting a kitten, it's not possible to vaccinate, let alone sterilize. So that adopter will leave that at the vet for two reasons. One, that the adopter has the reassurance that that money is being used for what they are paying it for, but also for our part, for Mijas Felina, because then we know that this adoption, this person is accepting the responsibility of microchipping, of sterilizing, and of looking after, this little cat. So the best way to contact us is either Facebook or because we have several volunteers all around, we're usually easy to get hold of and to be
I've,
known.
I've, I've put your email up on there as well, Luisa,
Yes,
that mikasfelina@hotmail.com, and also
correct.
said, that they can contact you via Facebook, Mijas Felina, or on Instagram. And we got a
Mm-hmm.
message here from Tracy, who said, we have 15 cats, most of them rescued from Mijas, and they also trap, neuter, and rehome or return. And keep up the good work, Mijas Felina. Thank you,
Oh,
Tracy.
thank you, Tracy. That's lovely. Yes. So Tracy, maybe Tracy was like me and wasn't going to have a cat.
I never wanted to have a cat, and I adopted already 3 from the streets also. And also
Yeah.
my partner and I, we always tend to have the ill ones that 2 have died already, and so we give us that
Mhm.
pain and all the time.
Yeah.
And but
Yes.
the cats are amazing creatures, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. There are studies that show that the cat purr, the vibration of the cat purr is very good for us. Sometimes when they do their little hooligan things, I think the blood pressure going up is not maybe so good, but on the whole, they are. They're lovely. Of course, they fit in very well with modern lifestyle because you can go to work and you can go to work and not have to worry as long as it has its litter tray and it has its water and it has. They tend to be superb as well for children and for therapy. We get a lot of adoptions that go to older people. People who can be a little bit lonely otherwise and can be feeling so pets can become an enormous comfort
Yeah.
to these people also. So
And you don't have to take them out for walks when it's raining.
yes, as we well know with the past few days.
Yeah.
Exactly, when the mud rain.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then it all gets walked in and all
Yeah.
over everywhere. Fun. Yes. Yes, I do understand it's cats aren't for everybody. But I think our main take home with this is, well, then let's control the population because if you don't like cats, let's sterilize them and stop more from arriving. This year alone, we've sterilized 255 cats so far. Last year, the number was a little over 800 cats. We've been dealing with the pandemic, we've been dealing with lockdown, but we're always edging. Our aim is, we want to get to 1,000 cats a year that we can
Right.
sterilize. Now, if we've been doing this since 2015, and each time we're sterilizing more and more and more, then we are starting to make a visible difference. People who you spoke to 5 years ago who were anti cats and were anti what we do are seeing the difference that it makes and are much more tolerant and even supportive of the work that we do. So it
Yeah.
does make a difference, it does add up.
So at
So
the end of
really,
the day, not only the cat lovers should support you, also the cat haters.
absolutely. Yeah. Because for the
Yeah.
cat lovers, they're seeing populations of cats that rather than having issues with eye ulcers that go untreated, there's calicivirus, which they get that terrible the drool coming out of their mouth, they get the gingivitis, and it's just awful to see. So by keeping the population numbers down, by having regular food, by having cats, it means they're not raiding bins. They're not going into the bins. You don't end up with litter everywhere. A point that Bill made earlier, where you have cats, you tend not to have rats or cockroaches. A lot of people don't realize that cats can catch cockroaches as well. So they do have that beneficial effect there.
Yeah.
So
And snakes.
the cat haters and snakes.
Our cats like snakes, unfortunately. I hate them killing things, but at the same time, I don't really want them coming into the house, which they do sometimes. And not the cats, I'm talking about the
Yes.
other things that they kill.
Well, one of the
Yeah.
cats we adopted, he's a house cat now. He doesn't go out, but he loves
Mhm.
spiders, so he eats spiders, which I'm very happy
Yeah.
about also.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
My spiders get names in my house, so it distresses me when they do catch them, but
Yeah.
but they do. They
Yeah.
catch, and so and this is the other argument. A lot of people, oh, they kill all the wildlife and they kill everything around, and you sort of say, well, actually, most of the time, more than killing it, they alienate it. Because actually, once cats become house cats, they're not actually that adept at hunting. They're
Oh,
they become too lazy and so they're
exactly.
actually not the best at hunting. So that's another argument to say, well, then let's set up a feeding station because a cat that has regular food won't be chasing the birds and won't be because they simply can't really be bothered to.
Yeah.
So there, of course, will be cats that will be the exception and they'll be wonderful hunters and that's going to happen all the
But
time,
that's life
unfortunately.
also. I
Yes,
mean,
it is.
Yeah.
It is. It's how it goes. You equally. We have galgos and we have podencos, which are such popular dogs around here that we have so many adoptions. But people can't then have a rabbit in the house or a guinea pig or something because that prey instinct is
Yeah.
there. So,
Yeah.
a lot of people are very quick to jump on the bandwagon and to criticize cats and to say, oh, there's such a problem and there's such and you sort of say, well, how much of this is fact and how much of this is that it's easy to propagate that idea? It's easy to continue that idea.
Sure.
So
Luisa, I think we need to finish now, but it's been really great having you with us this evening.
thank you so much for giving us your time and for giving us a little bit of a voice. We really
Well,
appreciate it. Thank
this
you.
this will be available on Facebook and also via YouTube. So you're welcome to share this. But we can send you the YouTube link, and you're welcome to share this to help people to understand what you actually do, because I think that's what's really important, and why you do it. Not just the fact that you do it, but the what you do and why you do it. And I think we need to get help to get that message out.
yeah, and we will share the flyer again so that people can have a look again how they can support you. And I think the best part was that we make clear that both cat lovers and cat haters should help or donate to control the populations. It's in all our it's good for all of us.
Yeah.
So
Yes, definitely. It's in all of our interests.
Yeah.
We do all share this beautiful planet. So we can either be at loggerheads with one another, or we can find the solution and we can find the way to cooperate and keep building. And that's really what we're all about.
every little helps. And I would like to say also to all the lovely people that constantly leave me cat food at Roberto's, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Thank you, Daniela. Thank you, Luisa. And well, we'll catch up at some point. We'll be back next week. Take care, everyone. We're almost at the weekend, so have a good one. Take care now. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.